Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live with EntreDot here at 7 p.m. on Wednesday night. And we've got an outstanding guest tonight, let me tell you that. And it's a second-time guest. This is Toby Bowen of Instinctive Branding. Toby, I'm sorry, I messed up the name.
That's okay. You also messed up my third time.
I'm consistent, at least.
Yeah. Right.
So, Toby is a very accomplished professional marketing person that I've known now for quite a while, and I've seen her work, and I've experienced her work. I know what I'm talking about. And Toby has a very unique approach. She's all about brands, but she's also about figuring out the right strategy and implementation plan and getting it done. So her feet reach the earth eventually. She knows what I mean by that. She knows all the bad jokes. It's all about marketing people. So, Toby, with that lousy introduction I just made, I mispronounced your name and other errors I'll soon make as well. Please introduce yourself and do a better job than I did.
I'll try. Hi, thank you for having me, Bill. This is awesome. I always love being here, chatting with you, and sometimes I get more out of it than I give, which I always try to do. So, my name is Toby Bowen. The name of my company is Instinctive Branding. I have been doing marketing, thinking my whole life. You know, we are what we do all the time, and if we're doing what we love, it's not really work. So, marketing is just something that's in my blood and in my bones, and I love helping people. And so, I started my career in the nonprofit arena. And I was in nonprofit for 20 years, and I learned how to really dig in on a number of levels, because in nonprofit you kind of have to do everything, and you're always multitasking. So it's a great training for a lot of other types of business. So I applied my creativity and what I love with helping people, and started my company in 2011.
Wow. So you've been doing 9 years. You must know what you're doing. Hey, look, let's get started and get serious for at least a second or two. What I always like to get across to people whenever I'm talking to business owners, whether I'm mentoring or just trying to learn, I do this at networking events too. I'm obnoxious, and you know that. I always like to start with what is the fundamental set of needs that you fulfill? Just talk about the needs. We're going to ask you then, how do you fulfill them? But what are the needs of the customers that you help predominantly?
Yeah. So it's interesting when people talk about what they need, right? Because not only do we think we need things, we want things. So the needs that people have might not necessarily be the right things for them, and they might want things that they don't need. So what we try to do is really dig in for people and help them to understand what they really do need. You know, someone comes in the door at any marketing company and they're like, hey, I need you to fix this, or we're starting a new business and I need all of this stuff done. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. Sometimes it behooves you to really dig around and ask a bunch of people, because you won't always get the right answer. Marketing is something that's very easy, manipulative on this side. I can tell people anything. You know, I can tell you, use jargon in any business, right? A service business. You know, car dealerships are, you know, notorious for telling you what's wrong with your car, and maybe there's nothing wrong with your car. And I'm not singling out car people, but people had shared with me,
Sounds like you were.
I was, and someone also said to me, you're just like a used car salesman one time. So okay. So, but marketing can be like that. Yeah, marketing can be like that, because as a layperson, you don't know what you really need. You don't know if you need a website that does this, this, and this. And you don't know if someone's selling you a website that doesn't do the important things. So what do people need? They really need someone who can honestly take a look at everything that they're doing. And what I really try to do is sit down with people to understand an entire 360 view of what they have going on. Now, someone might be like, hey, you know, we already do Google ads, they don't work for us. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't need Google ads. It just means that the ones you did in the past didn't work. That's it. That's the truth. They didn't work. And it doesn't mean they won't work in the future. So there are loads of opportunities to take a look at what your business is doing currently, where it's been, and where it's going. When you look at the past, the current situation, and the future, you'll have a brighter picture. Now, a lot of times in business, people are looking at today. What can I do today? I need it today. I need it today. And that's true. We also need to be forward thinking, because in today's, you know, the middle of June 2020, very different than what June looked like in 2019, 2010, 2009. You know, especially look at, you know, the difference between 2009 and 2010, when the whole real estate market dropped and the whole world changed. You know, we're kind of in that same space again. We don't know what's happening. Everything's a little bit different. So with everything that's going on, it really pays to take a look at what you need from a today perspective and a tomorrow perspective, because as we know, the world's changing daily, if not every hour.
So let me see if I got this. Regardless of what they say, whether it's I want or I need, you ask a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
And help them figure out what they really need. And you have a long-term view of it, long being a year maybe or more.
Right.
And then once you understand that, you haven't said this yet because I haven't allowed you to say it, then you're going to help them figure out what kind of marketing plan and strategy and what kind of marketing plan and implementation plan underneath that they're going to need. So let's go to that. What do you do to address these needs that you finally have drug out of them in your questions?
Yeah. So strategy is everything. Again, short-term, long-term. And by creating a marketing plan for someone, it really helps you not only budget-wise, but strategy-wise to figure out your business. So for a lot of people who are visual learners, you know, writing it all out, having it all on a timeline is super, super helpful. And because we all like take things in differently, having a conversation and seeing the actual work on a timeline is really helpful. So by planning a strategy, you can dissect all the pieces of your marketing. So your marketing strategy could include rolling out a new product line. It could include removing one of the services that you're having. It could include a rebranding process. All of these things would be micro diluted on a timeline so you understand specifically every single thing and when it has to be done. So the importance of really keeping your ducks in a row, you know, helps you tremendously. You know, even the space of social media, you know, having a social media plan. So people say, oh, I need Facebook. Okay, well, what do you need Facebook for? What is your plan with Facebook? Who are you talking to? You know, are you advertising or are you just posting? So there's so many pieces to this. Jersey, I talk with my hands a lot. So there are so many pieces that really have to be taken into account so that you can be successful. You know, even blogging, like Google crawls the internet every single day. They're looking for fresh, relevant content on your website every single day. So by putting a blog every day on your website, do you think it's overkill? Absolutely. Does Google think it's overkill? No way. Google wants fresh, relevant content. They want to know that you're in your business. They want to know that you want to be making money, and they will help you to make money by raising you up in the ranks. So it really pays to be diligent and create a kind of a balance sheet. And, you know, somebody could be listening going, I can't afford to, you know, have all that. Well, a lot of this stuff you can do yourself. You know, you don't need somebody to help you to create your social media post if you can do that yourself, or to, you know, create the strategy. But it's really important to like line it all up so that you know what to do, because it's very hard when a day comes and a client calls and you have things going on, and now all of a sudden you need to figure out what's going on and you have marketing to do, which is virtually impossible.
Yep. So what I take from this, because I kind of know what you do because you've done it for me, is that once you really have dug into what their needs are, you've learned about their customers and the issues they're trying to solve for their customers, or what their customers are solving for their customers, more importantly.
Right.
Once you got that straight and everybody's in agreement, you can also then put together all the marketing campaign pieces, if you will. At the core of it is a website, and by whatever means, your customer's got to reach their customer. You're going to use the right social media channels, the right email channels, if that's appropriate. But whatever they are, you pick and choose from this wide assortment of stuff that's available to you on the internet. So that's what you do. And what I like about what you do, and others that are like you, and there are very few, I call them marketing strategists. People that can do it all. From figuring out the need to delivering on the need, and everything in between. Now, we've got a little issue complicating the picture here for the last few months. It's this little bug called COVID-19. And as I talk to companies in varying degrees, their businesses are morphing greatly. Certainly going to online is typical, like we do on BNI meetings, like I do about every day when I'm talking to people. But sometimes their whole business model has to change. Online doesn't work sometimes, so they got to go sell something out. I've heard you use in the past the example of restaurants. They didn't go to sleep. They shipped the stuff out the back door. What are you seeing as the changes in the marketing strategies you have to put together for people? About everybody needs a person like you to go over their marketing strategy and change it. What are you seeing as the big picture issues that are facing us?
Yeah. So, hello, my cat.
Your assistant, yeah.
It's the strategy of working at home is the strategy. Yeah. So, sorry about that. So, you know, I think most importantly, the top level look at this is about being able to really pivot. And if someone has a very structured personality, if someone has a very structured personality, it's going to be a much more difficult time for them to navigate. Yep. We're in a time where we get to be moving through alleyways and corners and navigating times that, you know, in February or in early March, or even March 10th, if someone would have said, oh, you know, you only think the schools are going to close for 2 weeks, guess what? We're going to close them for the rest of the school year, and we're going to talk about the fall not opening too. Well, everyone would have said, no way. Oh, yeah, and on top of it, we're going to close the whole world down. Yeah, good luck with that. And, you know, it happened. Like, who would think that that could even happen? So, you know, in your business, you get to constantly grow and add and remove what's working, what's not working. So people who have a brick and mortar business where the only way they can do business right now is by someone walking in the door, how do you do that? You know, a lot of businesses couldn't do anything for a while. And so restaurants, you just mentioned restaurants. Restaurants specifically got to be very creative in how they were managing that. Takeout wasn't really takeout for most places. It meant curbside. That meant people are bringing the food outside. Sit in your car. We'll give you a call when your food's ready. Tell us what kind of car you have, and we'll walk the food right to your car.
Right.
That's huge for a restaurant that's used to having people come into them. And that minor change allows for success and failure. So I think really the biggest opportunity that people have right now is taking the opportunity to pivot and take a look at what you could be doing. Someone today just said to me, I can't wait till we can get out and start networking again. I really wanted to be like, what are you talking about? Like, I have been networking like I've never been networking in years. Like, I think it's been a wonderful opportunity to be at home, be on Zoom, pick up clients from all over this country, in other countries. And, people understand that maybe being in person isn't the only way we can do business, because having the opportunity to work with the right people is the way to be doing business. So it's not just the people who we know, it's the people who we can get introduced to. It's very easy to get introduced this way, through a text message, through a phone call, and people make up all kinds of reasons why they can't meet with somebody. They have to take the kids to soccer, they have to get home for dinner, they have to, go pick up the dry cleaning, the meeting is too far away. All of that is off the table. None of that's been happening. So we don't have the luxury anymore of making excuses up, Yes. And we've been given, I think, a huge opportunity to grow personally and professionally. So I think, COVID has been a devastating, horrific problem that we've all started to encounter.
Yes.
The flip side of that has been a beautiful opportunity to get back in touch with family, with friends in a more personal way, to take credence on our life, to allow us to say, what's really important in my life? Mm-hmm. Am I doing the right thing in my business? We've had so many people that have showed up that have said, hey, I had a job, I got fired, and I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah, and they're doing it.
Can you structure me? Can you tell me what to do to become passionate about my life? Because people have buried what they wanted to do for so long. And so I see COVID as such a huge opportunity for growth. And I think the world gives us that opportunity a couple times in our life. And we have the opportunity to sink or swim. So our homes have become our life vest. Mm-hmm. And we are able to get in the lifeboat, or we're able to not get in the lifeboat.
Mm-hmm. Very good answer. I'll follow up with the story I have where someone pivoted. I've worked with several therapists, physical therapists, one of which is occupational therapy for children. Now, in that work, you've got to be close and actually touching the child now and then. And lo and behold, these occupational therapists learned about another therapist out in California who does therapy online. And they, to the person, all 13 of them, got a quick education on how to make that transition. Now about a third to approaching a half, somewhere between those two numbers, is the percentage of the business that they got back on occupational therapy for children just by going online. Now they're considering offering that, in fact, are offering that as one of their primary alternatives. Do it online, we can do it face-to-face at your place or face-to-face at our place. We can't do the face-to-face part yet, but that'll come in the next stage, I guess. So yeah, people, this has kind of been this disaster has been the mother of invention. There's a quote on that, I don't remember how it goes. But, but you were forced to reinvent yourself. If you don't, you know what's going to happen to you. This reinvention is causing a lot of new ways of doing business. So there's some positive coming out of it. It's painful,
Right.
however. So
Right.
good answer. Hey, look, another question for you though, and I think we've now for the last probably 20 minutes heard the answer to this question. I'm going to ask you anyway. It's the age-old competitive differentiation question. Like, why do people go to you for marketing help and not the 900 other people that call themselves marketing wackos that can do the right job for them? Why do they go to you? It's because you have cats, right? Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's one there, right? That could be one reason. So if you do your homework, you will work with the people who work best with you. So not everyone is for everyone. And some people love working with us, and for others, we're not their cup of tea. And that's awesome because I think there's a lot of business out there and everyone has great opportunity to do business. So that being said, one of the things that really differentiates us is that we work really hard to ensure that what we're doing is the right thing. So I kind of alluded to earlier, marketers being like used car salesmen, and it's super easy to be like that. At any given moment, I can tell people anything about their website. I can tell them this isn't working because of this, or that's not working because of that. And you don't know, I'm the expert and I'm saying it like that. And so what happens is a lot of people are listening to people, as they should, take it at face value because people shouldn't be lying. And they get sold a bill of goods. So there are companies that we have a client we're working with right now. They have a website through one of the big marketing companies. I'm not going to say the name, it doesn't matter. They pay $99 a month for their website in perpetuity, forever and ever, $99 a month. Now, if you have that website for 10 years, websites cost you quite a bit. The piece that they don't tell them is that they use library content. So if they say to you, oh, a lot of contractors have this. Oh, we can give you, all the content, don't worry about it. We'll take it from our stuff. But if that content is the same content that's on other websites, Google is going to ding you, meaning it's going to lower you on the ranks. Mm-hmm. And you never want that. Another piece of that is this specific client, they own his domain name. Mm-hmm. So sometimes they will give it to you and sometimes they won't give it to you. Mm-hmm. So you think you have a website and once you stop paying, it's gone. For us, if you decide to host with us, or you decide to host somewhere else, when you finish paying for the website, you finish paying for the website. There's no in perpetuity stuff like that. So another reason is that we believe that being authentic works for you and it also works for us. I have a client that came in the door around December-ish. He found us online and he's an entrepreneur. He flips homes. He also is a landlord, and he does home inspections. He does a bunch of different things. So under his umbrella of his main corporation, he has 4 more businesses. He also has a different brand for himself that he's using on Instagram. So he, about a month ago, was like, hey, I'm ready to get started. I want to do a logo for this one piece of my business, this one company. I said, okay, great. We can do that. And he also had a logo for the holding company, which he doesn't really use, but he wants to use the holding company. So we started to look at the logo for this other company. It has nothing to do with his whole brand that he has on Instagram. So I woke up one morning and I was like, this isn't right. There's something wrong here. It's not going to work. So I called him and I was like, I need to have a conversation with you. I want to share with you that I think that you're kind of working against yourself if you have all of these company names, all of these logos that are totally separate, different colors, different business cards, he's like, oh my gosh, like that drives me crazy. That's what I'm doing now. I have to figure out how I'm talking to people and which business card to give them. I was like, okay, listen, here's what I think we should do. I think we should go off of, make the main brand your Instagram brand. That's the one you're really pushing. And then build the other companies, their names that look just like within brand, the main company. And he was like, oh my gosh, that'd be great. I said, that way you can have, and we're not even using the holding company because he doesn't use it. It's just like the money space. And so we're using the main Instagram logo name as his main one, and then all the other ones will stack under it. So much easier for him. And some people wouldn't have shared that. They would have said, oh, that would have been better, but that's not what he asked for. Going back to wants and needs, you know, like he didn't realize that. And once it became clear to me, I knew that that was the direction we needed to go in. So he was super happy with that. And he's working right now on some copyright stuff to make sure that there's no infringements and all that kind of stuff. So it's a much better way from the front end to really work with people and being honest, you know, and we're far from perfect. You know, I mess up a lot. And I try to not mess up, but I do. And then, you know, it happens. So I think being honest with people is, you know, what's important.
Well, in this last example, you were honest with him and you told him what you thought. That's what you should do. He could have agreed or disagreed. He agreed in this case, did the right thing, and is better off for it. In fact, in a different way, you did a positive thing for him, letting him go with so many logos and brand names or whatever. And he felt the pain himself. My God,
Right.
I can't keep this straight. I don't know what to say to whom and when.
Right.
Because the world isn't carved up like this.
Right.
But anyway, so you've shown your mettle, as I hoped you would. Thank you very much. Let's end with one last question that just serves right back to you. You know, in this difficult time, what are your words of wisdom to business owners, particularly small business owners? Let me tell you what I posted this morning. I read this article reporting on the Fed chairman, who Tuesday reported to the Congress, semi-annual report or stuff like that, and was heard to say, and really majored on, small businesses are in trouble because they may run out of money because they're not open. My post was, well, where the hell have you been, Mr. Chairman? And I guess I should have said that about the Congress too. This is not terribly hard to figure out, particularly for the really small businesses that don't have a lot of cash reserve lying around. They're, you know, so the small business, I'm looking for your words of wisdom and encouragement. That's what I'm saying to people. Government should be encouraging these people to open up, not restricting them for opening up. So whatever words of wisdom that encourage small business owners to hang in there. We'll get out of it eventually.
Yeah, and safety first, right? I have an office in Durham. I'm in my home, as my cat shared with you. So I think it's really about breathing and having patience if you can. Years ago, I heard a statistic, and the statistic was that 60% of fourth graders, this could have been 10 years ago, 60% of fourth graders will be in a position and or industry that does not exist yet. So if you are able to take advantage, I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean it in a good way, of what's going on right now. I've seen people that have added selling personal protection items They've added different pieces to their business that is current. I got a call this week from a guy who wants to have a commercial cleaning company, but the one that includes like spraying with that massive sprayer that, you know, so people can go into offices. I don't think there's an easy answer for anybody because no business is cookie cutter. You know, you talked about physical therapy, and you know, there is no physical therapy company that's exactly like another one. Like every restaurant is different. Every Walmart is different, right? So I think having the patience to understand that this too shall pass, right? Like we do have an endpoint with this. We will get past it, and whatever your inclination is about, you know, the city of Raleigh just passed Friday at 4 o'clock, masks required everywhere. So whatever you believe politically, and if you believe that you're affected by, you know, the virus or not, or would be, it's about respecting each other and understanding that I care about my neighbors and my fellow people in the world, and so I get to be safe for them. And I feel like the more we come together, the easier this will be and the quicker it'll pass.
You hit it. You hit the nail on the head with that answer. Safety comes first. The whole principle of this whole thing is keep each other safe.
Right.
Store owners keep themselves and their employees safe. People keep themselves safe. And a few simple techniques do this for us with the distancing and the masking and the washing the hands, stuff like that. Those are substantial safety measures.
Right.
So no business owner is going to be the one that wants to say, I caused COVID-19 and Mr. Smith over there.
Oh my gosh, right.
That will be the end of their business because everybody will be scared and never go back. So the business owner is highly motivated to do this well. That's a dynamic kind of built into this. If you mess this up, you're gone.
Absolutely.
You're not safe yourself. You're going to be in the sick bed or in a hospital or
right.
sometime. Anyway, I don't want to draw. Good answer. Thank you very much. And again, thank you for your time. We've gone way over time, but I loved every second of it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. You too.